Welcome to IoT America, and we are here in Boulder, Colorado. I'm Matthew Bailey, and today I'm with Greg Cook, CEO of Traction. So, what does a 3D printed mouse have to do with IoT? Let's look inside. So, Greg, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Well, I'm Greg Cook, as he mentioned, from Colorado. We're out of the Pikes Makerspace out of Colorado Springs. This is where this idea came from, and hence the company Traction is forming.
Fantastic. So, Greg, tell me more about the Makerspace in Colorado Springs, because this story is absolutely fascinating. And Makerspaces are really important to make IoT prototype development accessible to the general community, because we want everybody to participate in IoT. Can you tell us more about Colorado Springs Makerspace?
Okay, we've been around a little over a year, and a makerspace in general lowers the barrier for you to get an idea into the physical world. So being able to physically touch something with electronics, movement to it, battery operation. Often you'll hear of co-working spaces which are software oriented. Makerspaces create smoke, create dust, and create physical products.
So that's where all the fun is. Agreed. And you have 3D printed manufacturing there, so you can actually manufacture some initial components for your sensor, which is fantastic.
We have 3D printers, we have laser cutters, we have welding equipment, we have a full wood shop. Anything that you need to get an idea into the physical world, Makerspaces have them.
Well, that's just fantastic. So, Greg, tell me more about Traction, and particularly around how did this smart mousetrap idea emerge?
Okay, so we entered what's called the IP Smart Objects Challenge. Basically, you had a box to IP enable a device and have it communicate to the real world, but it had to be TCP/IP or just IP based. That was the box you were in, and then it was an IoT device. So we went through some brainstorming exercise. I gathered a random group of people out of the Makerspace. And we went into a room and we spent an afternoon brainstorming ideas using agile exercises. And one of the ideas that came out was, in fact, a better mousetrap. We entered it in the IP Smart Objects Challenge with 4 other entries. There were 54 worldwide entries. 14 came from Colorado.
So just a minute, Greg. Are you telling me that 14 out of 54 entrants came from Colorado?
Came from Colorado itself.
That's unbelievable.
10 were selected to go to California. 3 of them came out of the Pikes Peak Makerspace. And they can't figure, it was anonymized and randomized. They have no idea how we pulled this off. It all goes back to being agile.
So that's interesting. So what you're saying is you brainstormed an idea, you entered in a competition, you went to Silicon Valley, and effectively you were one of the winners.
We were in the top 10.
So that's fantastic. So tell me more, because that must have validated this heart of this tech cluster, Silicon Valley. It must have validated your business proposition, your idea.
That validated it, and when I brought it into IoT Startup Weekend a couple of weekends ago, we were in fact disqualified.
Oh no. That's terrible, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it's called winning without a crown. Our idea was so good and our team was so strong that we were going to blow away all the rest of the teams, and we all knew it, they all knew it. So when they asked me, do you mind if we disqualify you? I said, no problem.
Oh, okay.
We already knew we had a winner.
Okay, so basically you've had validation from the business community that you're onto something that really can add value. So let's talk about the business. First of all, let's dive into the technology. So tell me about the smart mousetrap. What is it? How does it work?
Okay. We're not really building a mousetrap. What we use are your standard off-the-shelf mousetraps. And you can demonstrate with our mouse.
Okay, be careful. This could be interesting. Okay, what do you want me to do?
So the mouse hits the mousetrap.
Oh my goodness me.
The violence of the trap goes off. We detect that violence. We send a message to the cloud. A customer gets an alert. That might be an email, it might be a tweet, probably not an SMS message, because the mice are out in the middle of the night and you don't need it that soon. No. Email's probably going to be good enough. Pest control company is going to get a map with all of their customers that have gone off. And his location will be on the map, and as soon as one goes off, he'll get an optimized route to go service that customer immediately.
Okay, so first of all is that what you're solving is a global problem. Everybody has problems with mice, whether it's New York City or whether it's London, UK, or whether it's Boulder, Colorado. So you're actually addressing a global market. And so what problems do you think you're solving with using IoT in a smart mousetrap?
Okay. First is that, take pest control companies. Right now they charge their customers to drive around and look at the mousetraps. Wasting fuel, wasting time, charging for a service because they have no other way to solve it. We give them instant information, an instant data point that go take care of that customer right now. Therefore, they're going to be able to service even more customers and add more value. Secondly, consumers, if they don't use a pest control company, they don't end up with what I ended up with. I was watering plants, flies buzzing around my head, looked beside the fireplace, and there was one of these traps with a mouse in it, with maggots in it, which is where the flies came from. I immediately get alerted with this device, and I immediately know that I can go service. I don't have flies buzzing on my head anymore, or stink in the house.
So that's really interesting. So I know that one of the CEOs of one of the big IoT companies that was sold a while back thought that actually smart mousetraps was a killer application, particularly in London, UK, and just London, UK. So I know you're onto something here. So basically, instead of a consumer buying one of these, and businesses like Tomcat, for example, that travel all around and deploy all these things, they have no idea where they are, they don't know whether they've gone off, you solve that problem.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what we're seeing here is a new form of logistics management around pest control.
Yes. And after we instrument the ones that kill, we'll move on to ones that don't kill, in fact. This is a standard tilt trap, but they don't work very well because you catch a mouse, 3 days later you discover you have it, and by then it's dead. That doesn't do you any good. You need to know immediately that, in fact, it went off. So this one sets like this. Mouse goes in, he walks to the side, it tilts, the door closes, he caught in there. We will monitor the fact that it tilted, send you the alert, immediately service. You don't kill your mice anymore. Rat traps, raccoon traps, squirrel traps. I have a picture of a friend of mine. She had a raccoon wrangler come and catch a raccoon for her. But it's out in the trap in the sunshine, and she was worried he was going to die of heat stroke, so she put an umbrella over it so that the raccoon wouldn't get hurt.
I love that story. But I think you're onto something here, and I think the value is in the data. So there's definite disease that's associated with mice droppings and dead mice and rodents. And so having data in real time that shows you potentially where disease outbreak may be happening and linking it to how these mouse traps are going off because we're now detecting it could be really quite interesting.
So let's say you have a high incidence of mousetraps going off in a particular area. It could be that some food processing, it could be a restaurant, it could be some manufacturer, is not properly handling their waste, therefore creating an environment for rodents, in fact, to breed. So when we map out these densities, we'll be able to solve root problems of why are all these mice here in the first place.
So that's really fascinating. So what we've said so far is the B2C solution that you have, where me as a client, I can buy one of these, be careful, mouse traps, and basically I will then be told when it goes off, so the wife basically doesn't hassle me to go and look at the mouse trap. But the second thing is the B2B model, where basically someone like a Tomcat or someone else can actually use these smart pest control devices to improve the efficiency of their operations and actually start getting data. Right? So that's interesting. And then we've got further data value to the health organisations. So this is really quite interesting. And it may be linked to weather as well, which is really quite fascinating.
Or you might use them to map out. Like, let's say you put a perimeter around the outside and you catch them at this level. And then you have another barrier around here, another moat. Oh, you catch them at this level, and by the time he gets in here, none are getting to the core because I'm catching them farther out.
Right.
So therefore, the rodents aren't even getting into, let's say, the yogurt manufacturing plant because you caught them way out here.
That's fascinating. I can see businesses just deploying these just for the sake of just knowing whether there's any rodents around or not. This is really quite fascinating.
So back with, yes, we're starting by killing them, but eventually we're just going to be catching them. We're going to be saving animals.
Would you like to reiterate that to the camera?
We will be saving animals, not killing them. You can imagine instrumenting lions and tigers and bear traps, any kind of thing that you have to capture, live capture, you now instantly know, so the risk of injury or the death of the animal is in fact lowered. You lay them out in a pattern. So let's see, you've got 3 of them here. And your mouse comes up and it hits this one, and you go, oh, well maybe they're over that way. And so now it hits this one, and then you get them closer. You're triangulating in the house to in fact discover that, oh, the hole's in the closet, and I fixed the hole, and therefore I don't have to catch mice anymore. I'm saving mice that way too.
Yeah, I'm sure that many American housewives will be really thankful for these smart house traps, quite frankly, and I'm sure many men will enjoy the peace and quiet of having a smart mouse trap. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience? What's next for the business, Greg?
What's next for the business? So we will be putting a crowdfunding effort together starting January. This is a new way to invest in companies.
Yeah.
Instead of going to a typical VC, what we are going to is crowdfund our effort. That you as an individual, in fact, can invest in my company and, in fact, maybe get either a section of the revenue or, in fact, a slice of equity. Crowdfunded versus. So this is different than like Kickstarter and Indiegogo. This is venture capital crowdfunding versus product crowdfunding.
It's equity crowdfunding.
Equity crowdfunding.
What you're talking about, which it's very big in the UK and now it's coming to the US. And I know Indiegogo are looking at this, which is great. Right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. You've seen the future. Smart mousetraps with Greg Cook, CEO of Traction. And this is the first series, and the first episode in IoT America. More to follow. Thanks very much.